It says air occurred. Let me try again. Oh,
I was like, I think it says live.
live. Yes. Thank you. Here we go. Okay. So I have Meettia Bailey with me. Her story is incredible as a female business owner, super inspiring to me. I wanted to bring her on and share with you all what her experience is like and what she's been able to do in just 4 or 5 short years, Tia?
Yeah, 4. It's coming up on 4.5 soon.
Awesome. So the story is that earlier this year, I was looking for an event space for our upcoming March 2022 event, Founding Females Central Illinois. And somebody suggested to me to check out Loftie Spaces and Events. And I had never heard of it before. So I jumped on the Google and I saw that they had a selfie room and I was like, okay, done. We're in. And then I went to tour the space with my little girl gang. As soon as I talked to Tia and her team, I knew that this was the perfect team to walk alongside us to execute this event. And then the space inside is absolutely gorgeous. And so it's really just the perfect fit to bring this event to Illinois and collaborate with a team who embodies so much of our core values. So that's the story. I want you to meet Meettia Bailey. She's an Airbnb specialist, and she's the founder of Loftie Spaces and Events. So young female entrepreneur from Seattle, Washington. She came over here and visited for a different project and saw Peoria, and she said, I've got to do something here. So you ended up coming to Peoria, moving here, transplanting from the Washington area, and she is well known in the short-term rental industry for her innovative systems and structures, and she's helped dozens of families find financial freedom through short-term rentals. She launched her company in Seattle in June of 2017, which is not that long ago. She was only 26. And in the years following, she figured out how to first double business revenue, and then she quintupled business revenue twice in the following 3 years. So when I hear that, I'm like, my ears are perking up. I got to learn from this woman. Her unprecedented success is due to this work ethic that is just incredible, her core values, and her success in the industry is just amazing. So she has designed and managed over 150 Airbnbs in the last 4 years. That is like so incredible to me. And she's now expanded into what she calls the future of B&Bs and business, which is Loftie Spaces and Events, where all of these beautiful things come together. So short-term rentals, rentable spaces, community events, and engagements, they all come together to create a whole new approach to the way business is run and thought of. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. And thank you so much for being like so interested in my story and everything that, who I am. So, thank you.
Well, there's a rumbling in Peoria. And when other people from, a Seattle, right? Like, oh, that's a really cool place to be from. When there's somebody who takes note of what's going on in Peoria, it's like, okay, tell me about that,
Oh, 100%. Like, people were constantly like, why would you leave Seattle? Why are you? Like, I'm like, have you been to Seattle recently? Like, there's a lot of people there, but also it's so expensive. Like, it's really hard for like small businesses to start in large cities like that. And, I was really fortunate to be able to figure out a way that I could at such a young age, and then also be able to, come here and do more.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so let's jump into it. I have a few questions that I think will tell give a really good visual of your story. And then wherever else the conversation goes, we can take it, if that's okay with you.
I love it. Let's go.
So give me the 101, the TO 101. Tell me about you, your interests, your background. What's most important to your life? I want to hear about it.
Well, my name is Meettia Bailey. So as Francie had mentioned earlier, I am from Seattle, Washington, specifically Snohomish, Washington, which is north of Seattle. And that was where I was born and raised. Like, I love traveling, and the only time I ever left my state really was when I moved to London or I moved to Brazil. And those were like what I call midlife crisis moments. So usually something was happening in my life that literally like just took me to like the hits of darkness, like mentally or emotionally or like whatever was going on. And I just knew I needed change. And whenever I feel like I need change, I go somewhere where change is like where you're just thrown in and you don't have an option. Um, so when I moved to London, it was because I had a really hard time dealing with the death of my brother. And so I had to be away from family. I had to be away from friends. I just needed to pick up and go. And London was like the first place that I had gotten a passport for. And so I was like, you know what? At least they speak English, even though it's not like the same as American English. And that really helped me like grow as a human being, just being exposed to like so many different types of people, even in London. Like people don't realize like London, they speak over 400 different kind of languages there. They are also like a huge melting pot of culture and just fun. And so that was like really exciting to like go out and have just such easy access to like history and other countries and cities and things like that. And then when I came back, I really started trying to figure out like who I was, like who I wanted to be in life. And obviously at that point in time, I was only 20. So it's not like I was, or 21. I think I was 21 at the time. So it wasn't like I was doing anything like super crazy, but I just like, I knew my life needed like a total shakeup. So I came back and I tried to discover a little bit more about like who I was. Started, hanging out with a variety of people and realizing like people my age suck. Especially guys, dating guys. I was like, you all are on a one-track mind right now. And I've always just had this like weird fire of like, I do not want to work for somebody else for the rest of my life. Like I want to go and build something that is utterly and completely me, that can go out and just freaking help people. And then I went through like another life crisis probably when I was like 25 and ended up, and that was actually a true life changing, like midlife crisis, where I had just finished my 2-year degree at my community college and I had no idea what the heck I was going to do in life. And I happened to walk in the complete opposite direction of where my car was and walk by this like study abroad board because I'd gone through London through the same school. So I was like, okay, cool. I wonder where they're going next. And like I had seen in the bottom corner that there was a paid internship to go to Brazil and for that summer. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I just started bawling. Like I could not control the amount of emotions that came over me at that time. And I have a really soft spot for Brazil because my brother who had passed away had done his mission. We grew up Mormon, even though I'm not a Mormon anymore, but like we grew up Mormon and he did his mission in Sao Paulo in Brazil. And so I had done culture projects on that. I had actually tried to teach myself Portuguese since I was 11. And any of my friends that I had started growing up the moment I found out you were Brazilian, like you were my best friend. Like I found you, you're going to come hang out with me. You're going to teach me lots of dances and you're going to make me lots of brigadeiro and like all these different kinds of foods that I just really connected with like the Brazilian people. And so I ended up just knowing, like seeing that and knowing that I needed to go. And so I went home, I told my mom and I was like, I don't know what's happening to me right now. Like I'm having a total breakdown, but I need to apply for this. And she's like, I've never seen you like this. Go apply for it. so I did 2 interviews that like back to back that same week. And then I was on a plane 4 weeks later and I left and I stayed in an Airbnb with a family that literally took me under their wing and then showed me everywhere around the town and everything like that. So I got a true cultural experience in Airbnb, like through Airbnb, through this family. And it was actually there that my idea for my Airbnb business was born.
Cool. That is life-changing.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So I love that. I didn't know that about you. And real quick, while we're on the topic of your 101, tell us about your huskies.
Oh my gosh, yes. So I don't have them with me right here now, but I have 2 huskies named Balto and Lucky. Balto, I got more of like a therapy dog when I was going through like a little midlife crisis. And then Lucky was just happenstance. Like I saw his story on Facebook post and I was like, dude, I'm just going to foster this dog. And then I brought him home and I just knew that he wasn't going to be leaving. Like, he immediately bonded with my dog. I actually snuck him into the house. My parents had no idea that I was going to go get this dog. Like, I literally like left in the middle of the night, drove down south to Burien, picked him up, brought him back home, and then like was like, don't make any noises. And he was like, Lucky had been totally like had some trauma. And so like it was super cool to see Balto like come out and like really help calm him down and like really try to play with him and have, you know, just this whole thing with him. And it created like an instant bond. And yeah, he's just now like my little cuddle bug, and he's like way more loyal than Balto.
He both came with you here to Peoria.
Yes, we drove. We actually did the 30-hour drive from Seattle straight to Peoria if you're going straight. We actually did it in a day and a half. So we left at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday morning in Seattle, and we were here in Peoria by 6 p.m. on that Wednesday night. It was crazy. We drove 20 hours on our first day.
Wow.
It was nuts. And I brought my niece with me too. So she's my oldest niece is 23. So she came with me to be a part of my journey in my business and to just kind of like learn from me and grow.
What a neat experience. That's awesome. Okay, so tell us the story of your Airbnb business and then how Loftie fits into that. Kind of gave some information in the intro, but how did it start? How did it grow? And then how did your idea evolve to be more of a spaces type of idea with Loftie?
Oh, 100%. So like when I was in Brazil, like I realized how much I was paying like $250 American dollars in rent every month for my room and my bathroom, right? And that to them was almost $1,000 a month because of the currency exchange that was there at the time. So I saw how much me staying there was really helping this family financially. And so I was laying in bed one night and I was like, man, my sister just moved out of my parents' house. She just got married. Like, they've had terrible experiences with, you know, long-term renters before. This might be a good option for them. And like, I could use that as a testing ground to see like if this is something that I really wanted to do. So I go home and it took me like 3 months to convince my parents. And it wasn't until like someone ran off Facebook Marketplace came to buy a bunch of furniture off of me that they were like, oh yeah, we're furnishing another Airbnb in our house. And, you know, my dad was like, well, how much are you making? And they're like, well, we have a private room and they bring in like $2,200 a month. And my dad was like, what? We were getting like $750 a month in rent for our mother-in-law apartment. That's like way bigger than just a little room and stuff. So he comes inside and he's like, all right, you have 90 days to prove me wrong. Your mom and I will do whatever you want us to do, however you want the upstairs done, but you got 90 days to prove us wrong. So my parents were bringing in $750 up to $1,100 a month from like rent. It just depended on like bills for it. But so we launched it on June 3rd of 2017. And in their first month, we only were at like maybe a 50 or 60% occupancy, but they had brought in almost $1,750. And then their second month, they brought in a little over $2,200. And then their third month, they brought in over $2,800. So immediately my dad saw the value in what I was doing. And he was like, you need to start a business. And I was like, I already bought a business. Like, I'm way ahead of you. And so I started going out and helping other homeowners, literally turning spaces into Airbnbs so that they could have that financial freedom. And then I was just willing to do all the work. So I was willing to trade my time to make that happen for them. And it just kept opening doors of opportunity everywhere. And it hasn't been easy, obviously. It's been freaking crazy. And COVID definitely did not help initially. When COVID first came out in 2020, early 2020, like that tanked my business for like a few months. But then we actually figured out a way to change things up. And we ended up generating more money during COVID, the year of COVID, for our homeowners than we had ever done before. Like we almost doubled what we had done the year before. It was crazy. And I realized that through the COVID, through how Airbnb treated their hosts, that really didn't have their hosts back, that there had to be something else. Like there had to be something else that can be done from a business standpoint where you aren't relying on just these online platforms, where you can tap into local communities that would still need your services, year round. And so I had actually bought the name of Loftie 2 years ago, or back in 2019. Yeah, so 2 years ago, but I didn't do anything with it in Seattle. And then when I got here to Peoria and I saw this project, I knew exactly that name was meant for this building. And so that's where it came, where we were like, we have tons of Airbnbs here, but we have so many rentable spaces in like our selfie room and our brick room and our lounge and, our event center, that the local community can come in and it's affordable. So they're able to come in and just utilize the space and have that creative freedom to do the things that they want to do in it without like obviously damaging our building and stuff like that. But like they had the creativity to come in and just say like, this is what I'm envisioning. Is this something that's possible? And 99% of the time we're like, yeah, let's do it. And it just became a place where everybody was just excited and wanted to come and see. And it's been like a really long build up, but now we're just hitting the ground running now. Like just in the last 72 hours, we've had so many changes and so many like inquiries and things like that and bookings coming through. And we're like, all right, all this work that we've put in over this last year, like it's freaking happening. Let's go.
Yes, the dam broke. That is awesome.
Yeah.
And I know maybe we'll have time to touch on a few events that you've had recently, but one of your team members mentioned the sophisticated ratchet event, and I just keep hearing about it, and I'm having like the worst regret not going to that event. So we'll have to things. I mean, your team is so creative. So okay.
Well,
so
actually, that was definitely the Yanni team who did all of that. We were just honestly just like a space for them. But the fact that they could come in and just express creative freedom and be themselves and open it up to their own communities and everything like that, like it was a total game changer for us. And we realized like we want to align ourselves a lot more with people that want to bring in more arts and more culture and more exposure to different cultures in general. And like we're like, bring it in, let's go. Like it might be the Seattle person in me, but I don't care. Like come on in. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm a reverse coconut. I might be white on the outside, but I'm brown on the inside, I promise. Like
that's so funny. So tell us about your favorite client success story.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, I've actually got a good client one as well as a good student one. So I'll start with my student one. So one of my students went through one of my training programs, and she just had a drive in her that I'm like, girl, you are basically me. Like you are me, but you're like the close to the same age as me. So it was like, and she just had a drive. She worked for Google, and she just wanted to get out of Google. Like she did not want to work there anymore. And so I helped her create a vision plan where we were like, break it down. Like, I want to see how much money you want to make. I want to see what your business is going to look like. I want to see what it's going to look like from 6 months to a year to 2 years to 3 years, 4 years, and to 5. Like, I want you to get detailed into this. And it was crazy because between my training program, and then I had also suggested one of my friends' programs as well. Between the two mentorships, she quit her job in like 6 months. Like she moved to Pennsylvania. She launched a whole business over there, replaced her income very rapidly. Like, and she's not one that like just replaces with like individually. Like she doubled her income and then more before she left Google. And she all did this way before she was 30. So she literally walked away from her Google job at like 28, 29. And I was so freaking proud of her. So, and she's just freaking killing it over there on the East Coast right now too. So I'm like, good job, girl. But then also like from a homeowner standpoint, I have actually quite a few different homeowners, especially in my Seattle area, that we taught them and helped them make 1.5 to 3 times their normal rental income off of long-term tenants just by transitioning into short-term. So there are some of our homeowners, like, they're completely debt-free. There's other homeowners that, for them it was, I just want to get back to and travel with my family. I just want that freedom of time back with my family. And I don't know, we were just helped all of them in so many different ways. But one homeowner, we helped them raise their rental prices. So like they were bringing in, so they have 3 properties altogether. And between the 3, they were bringing in 25, so like $4,100 a month. And that was like them paying for the utilities and everything like that. I called them the Goldilocks houses, because one was a 1-bedroom, 1 bath, one was a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and the other one was a 3-bedroom, 2 bath. And they're all like together on the same property. And now on average, they're doubling that. So they're bringing in $7,000 to $8,000 a month for their rentals, which is just amazing. And they've been one of our oldest clients. They were one of our first ones that came on board with us when we first started. And it's been 4.5 years and they're still going strong. So
cool.
Actually, our Seattle homeowner, we had a Seattle homeowner that just came on board recently, and they were going to kind of keep the upstairs of their place, because it's kind of like 2, split, kind of like a duplex, but not quite. So they were going to keep the upstairs for themselves and then rent the downstairs for $1,200 a month. And we had told them, you're not going to be there very often. You might as well just Airbnb it and just tell us when you're coming back so we can block it out for you. And so their realtor randomly found our ad. I don't even know how he found our ad, because it was an old ad that I stopped running long time ago. So I don't know how he came across it, but they jumped on board in March, April-ish timeframe, I want to say. And they have been consistently pulling in on their property between $55,000 to $8,000 a month.
Wow.
Yeah, which is insane, because that's
changing.
It totally is. And granted, that's in Seattle, and they have really great views and things, and there's weird quirks about that house too. But it's totally life changing. And they realized holy crap, we're never going back to we would have just been happy with $1,200 a month. Now we're making this kind of money. This is insane.
Yeah, that is so neat. So you get to see real change right in front of your face.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, with change comes challenges. So don't get me wrong. When you grow a business, and especially how rapidly I grew mine, I was my only employee for the first 3 years. And then I just contracted out the cleaning work. But the amount of lessons that I learned, the amount of mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional growth that you have to go through. And even here at Loftie, the last 2 months of my life, wow. I couldn't, that would be a whole nother live to go off on that. But
part 2.
Yeah, a part 2. And it's just, I can't explain it, but there's certain things that happen in your life, and you are either going to rise up to the challenge and take responsibility for the decisions, whether they're good or bad, that you've made, or you're not going to. And depending on that, you could potentially create karmic issues, or you can create doors of opportunity that lead you to something better. And luckily, I have been fortunate enough to, even on decisions that I made irresponsibly, by taking responsibility for those actions, I've now started to see the benefits and the abundance, and just the people that are coming into my life that I'm wow, where were you 5 months ago, 3 months ago? And I'm never mind, I wasn't ready for you then. I was not the best version of myself back then versus now. So it's just an ever learning curve of, lessons.
Love talking to people who do self-work like that.
Oh, it's so necessary. I don't know why people don't do it. Talk about it more openly, more often. You cannot be of service to other people if you are not in alignment with yourself. And if you have doubts, and you are talking, and you have a bad relationship of self-love with yourself, that reflects into every area of your life. So if you can't get right with yourself, and you can't feel love for yourself, and you can't trust in yourself, no one around you is going to be able to do that with you. So you have to, and it means fighting and going deep into like bad areas of the life and potential traumas or things like that. But man, once you start like releasing that and letting go of that, it's like you're a whole different person. It's not even just a weight that's lifted. It is like you have been cleansed mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And they're just saying, go. Like, you're ready. You're ready for the next step.
We'll have to exchange war stories sometime, because my word for 2021 was transformation, and it has been really powerful to just keep that focus, that daily view of that word. So maybe that's a part 3. Who knows?
Ooh, mine for this year was a value of not only just being a person of value, but being of value to others.
Love that. And look what you've done.
I know, right?
Okay, so let's turn our gaze forward. What's ahead for the next year for you?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, first off, just the rest of this year, I'm super excited because of all the events that we're hosting.
Okay.
But from like a Loftie standpoint, we are looking to grow within every community. We're looking to basically invite, especially all of Peoria and the surrounding areas, and being like, hey, come to my house. Like, come see what we have to offer. Come bring those classes that you want to do, especially like the founding female stuff, which, by the way, if you guys are not going, you need to go buy your tickets right now. We want to just be that space that you can come in and you can do like cool spiritual classes, or you can come in and do cooking classes, or you can come in and just do fun activities. Like, we want to create so many different fun things that everybody in the community can be a part of and enjoy, but also be a spotlight. Like, if you've got a special talent or a skill, like, we want to highlight that. And we want to help you grow your own business so that you can help more people into the community as well. And so we're basically looking at 2022 as being like, Loftie life. Like, we want pretty much Loftie become a household name where it's like, well, let's go check what's going on at Loftie tonight. Because we just would have like so many different things. Like, I want to have food truck nights, and I want to have, like karaoke nights and Korean drama movie nights and movie marathon nights and like and like festivals and all these different things that just engage everybody in the local community. But like I said, like, just highlights everybody's like artistic skills and communication skills, like through poetries or through like whatever it is, just to get them to come in and just be like, I can be me, I can be free, and I can do that here in Peoria.
I love that. That is so cool. Okay. So I know you have a vendor fair coming up in the next couple of months. What other events can we tell people about?
So we actually have our Winterfest week. So we have our theme this year is the Forbidden Forest. So the first full week of December, we will actually be hosting events every single day. You'll have events that kids can come in, and there'll be a princess, one of our snow princesses will read a book to children, and then they can go decorate cookies and houses and like different activities like hot chocolates. For that, we'll have movie marathons. So it'll be like from 9 a.m. until 11 p.m. We'll have like family friendlies that move into like, the classics that move into like just like, more adult ones, like kind of things. Not like that adult, but like, just like non as kid friendly for things. We'll have like our vendor fairs, which will be 2 weekends in a row, where local vendors and businesses will come in and like, they will just showcase like what they have, and people can come through and get Christmas gifts for their families, or, find out about like what's going on in the city and like what other kinds of products and things that they can buy and have and, just enjoy. So I'm really excited about that one, which we're about like 60% full, I think, for that. So vendors, like, we're still looking for more vendors to come through, and highly encouraging it, especially if you're a food vendor, like, come on in. Like, we want the food vendors. But yeah, we have in our New Year's Eve party that we're so excited about. Tickets are going to go on sale next week. So that's going to be massive. Yeah. That's going to be like a masquerade mixed with like a Cirque du Soleil type action. So I'm pumped.
So fun. So you are the creative brain, and I know you have a really cool creative team too, but you also have
100%.
people who are the executioners, like the logistics. Like, okay, I
Yep.
see your vision, I'm gonna work backwards, and I'm going to help make this happen. All the steps along the way. So that's what I love about you is you're the visionary, and you're also so business minded. I think our female business community has a lot to learn from you. So thank you for
Thank
blazing
you.
that trail.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely having a good support team around you is huge. Like I would not be able to do the things that I have been able to do and that we will be able to do without my team. My current Loftie team is the strongest that I have ever had. And every single one of them is in alignment with the vision that I have for my company and for them. Because when they come into Loftie, you are family. And I want to make sure that if you've got a business, we're incorporating that somehow into what we have here so that you can grow your own business, but at the same time, still have the creative freedom in all of the events and things that we do. So when you have change, you got to start with those around you. And I definitely like, as much as my team supports me, I want to do everything that I can to make sure that I'm supporting them in every way, shape, and form.
You're such a good leader. That's cool.
I'm working on it, dude. It's a new concept for me right now.
So, for Peoria local people watching, tell us where you're located downtown.
Yeah, so we're at 725 Southwest Washington Street. If you know where Time Restaurant is, we're right across the street from them. Or if you know where Dozer Park is, we're also right across the street from them, catty corner from Zion.
Yeah, awesome. And I just want to mention too the features, benefits of your space. You have a selfie room if people need to go in and do photo opportunities. You have a corporate meeting space. So if anybody needs to rent out a space,
we actually upgraded that. So we currently have our selfie room, our lounge, which is where a lot of corporate people are now using that space. We have our brick room, which is used a lot more for like birthday parties, small weddings, gatherings, networking events, things like that. And then our 6,000 square foot event center, which is, where the big stuff happens.
Amazing.
And then we have the 21 Airbnbs on site as well.
Yes. Yeah, that's a big part of it. So very neat. Loftie Spaces and Events.com. Is that your email or your website? It's posted in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and try to get some pictures posted in the comments too, so people can see the space. It's so cool. Exposed brick and window front out on the front of the building. It's so beautiful.
And we're on social media too. So like if you go on Instagram or Facebook, Loftie Spaces, like you'll easily find us. We're also on Google. Like we have tons of video. My team's amazing when it comes to like the social media stuff. They're so creative and interactive on there. And I'm like, yes, do this. Because you guys are way better at that than I am.
Putting people in their rightful roles.
Yep, exactly.
Good. Well, Tia, thank you so much for joining and for sharing your heart and your business with us. You're doing amazing things in Peoria, so thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to working with your team over the next several months to make an amazing Founding Females Central Illinois happen in March.
Yes, let's change lives, Francie.
I love it. You are my girl.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, have a good day.
You too.